Team Racing Series returns to ETV Live on Tuesday nights following the Fast Track Racing Series radio show. After organizing a highly successful team series in 2010, Jerry Wolf is back with some kick-butt, take-no-prisoners team racing action like you have never seen before. The ETV Live Team Racing Series is sponsored by HD Radio Network live on Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't wimp out, dude. Catch the action live at etv-eplay.net.
Hello there, and welcome to the Tuesday Night ETV Live Team Series, presented by the HD Radio Network, the leader in sim broadcasting. It's going to be, again, the Kyle and Kyle show up in the booth, myself, Kyle Peddle, alongside with Kyle Young. Oh, Kyle, we're going off to Chicagoland Motor Speedway for 100 laps here in the BE car. A little bit different through the corners now. I don't think we're going to see as much two-lane racing through 1 and 2 as like we saw at Las Vegas, but you got to keep in mind that the bottom of 1 and 2 is super bumpy, so we're going to see who's got the car set up to get through the bumps.
Indeed it is, Kyle, and good evening, everybody. Yeah, this is going to be definitely different from what we experienced last week at Iowa. You mentioned the bumps in 1 and 2. It's also very bad at the bottom of 3 and 4, a very bumpy racetrack that these drivers are going to have to deal with here tonight, down on the bottom side of the racetrack. And unfortunately, the top side doesn't work that great when trying to pass, so these guys are going to have to make sure that they are set up and ready to go to tackle those bumps and be able to make their cars work on the bottom side of the racetrack.
I think I need to go get a coffee or something. I'm falling asleep here. By accident said that we were at Las Vegas last week. I'm sorry, that was a correction. That was 2 weeks ago we were at Las Vegas. Last week we were at Iowa. A little bit of a different setup in front of me today. Unfortunately, my power supply on my main computer packed it in on Sunday, so right now I'm using the laptop. We're going to see how that goes. We're going to quickly look at the championship point standings to see where everybody's at, and right now, Hulls on Post is still leading the way at 486 points, followed by second place the Super Speedway Cup Series. They're only 9 points behind, so they're trying to make up some ground today here at Chicagoland. Crosstop Motorsports is going to come home, is in third place right now. They're pretty far out. They're at least a race behind. They're 56 points behind, so that's pretty big. That's a pretty big gap to make up. Fourth is going to be the Asphalt Assault Series. We've got official word from the officials that apparently Bobby Terrell is your only no-show tonight. So, obviously, Asphalt Assault Series, they can't have any mistakes tonight. They are 77 points behind Hulls on Post. Rounding out your top 5 for the championship point standings, the Full Throttle Motorsports Series, and that's going to be 408 points, so they're 78 points behind. ETV Live Team Series is 6th, 126 points back. And rounding out your top 7, unfortunately, they're not going to win the championship this year, but they're going to try as hard as they possibly can. Hollywood Motorsports, they're 216 points back. Kyle, I think you got the last week's results from Iowa up. Tell us what happened last week.
Indeed, I do, Kyle. Winning last week's race was Crossed Up Motorsports, barely holding off the Full Throttle team by 3 points. Crossed Up Motorsports picking up the victory by 3 points over Full Throttle. Finishing in third place was the Super Speedway Cup team. They had a total of 115 points, only 8 points out of the win. Hollywood Motorsports came home in fourth place with 110 points. Hulls on Post, your current championship leaders, rounded out the top 5 in finishing order with 107 points. The Asphalt Assault team came home in 6th with 98 points, and the ETV Live team, after a rough week in Iowa, came home last in 7th place with 85 points.
And quickly, just to let the race fans know here on the radio and also watching live right now, that there was final decisions after last week's race. After the NASCAR officials took a look at the replays, Greg McKinney was not awarded the win last week. And so that means the second place driver, unfortunately I don't have it up on my screen right now, had taken the had come home first. And who might have that been, Kyle?
Looking at the results, it still shows that McKinney is the winner, but if, you know, this could be something new that had just developed, recently, but if that does play true, then Sean Brown will be declared the driver winner for the week. I don't think that is going to affect how the teams finished up, considering that Sean... Actually, no, it actually probably helped them, because Sean was on the winning team with Crossed Up Motorsports for last week, so it probably won't affect it a ton, but if that is true, then Sean Brown will get the driver win, and it will still go to Crossed Up Motorsports for the team win.
as we're both loaded up into the server right now, and it's looking like the guy that's going to be leading the way again is going to be Greg McKinney. He's qualified on pole right now with a 30.822, followed closely behind by their ETV Live Team Series and also racing official Dakota Ehrman as a 30.863. Third's going to be Dwayne Vincent, 30.909. I don't know, Kyle. Who do you think is going to win this race today? You got a ton of strong competitors here today. Draft is going to play in effect with here at Chicagoland. We're going to have to see how this is going to turn out.
Yeah, it is. And looking at the qualifying results, I would definitely put my top 2 fantasy picks on Greg McKinney and Dakota Ehrman. I've raced with Greg many a time in the official side of iRacing. He definitely knows what he definitely knows what he's doing out on the racetrack, and he is always a fierce competitor when he hits the track. So definitely watch for him, and Dakota Ehrman as well. I was again recently raced with Dakota in a race here at Chicagoland, and he ran away with it. Dakota, he knows what he's doing at Chicagoland, a very strong competitor. It's going to be a very interesting race between these two guys, and the teams that clashed last week at Iowa, the top 2 at the top of the qualifying boards. Of course, Greg McKinney driving for Hollywood Motorsports, and Dakota Ehrman for the ETV Live team. Going to be very, very interesting to see how that plays out again this week. Hopefully it's a lot cleaner and more calm than it is last week. And we've had quite a bit of tensions and fights and rivalries recently in all different kinds of racing here in the racing and sim racing world.
And unfortunately, we're going to talk about that a little bit later, and also I'm going to make my pick a little bit later. But right now, we got to send it down trackside for the national anthem with the Cactus Cuties.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Welcome back here at Chicagoland Internet Motor Speedway. We're going to send it down trackside for today's implications. Starting on the pole is going to be Greg McKinney in the number 23 machine. Starting to his outside is going to be the number 13 machine of Dakota Ehrman. Those are the Hollywood Motorsports and ETV Live Team Series drivers. Starting in the 3rd place in the Asphalt Assault Series is going to be Dwayne Vincent. 4th in the Super Speedway Cup Series is CJ Levert. Donnie Klein is going to be 5th. 6th is Michael Keaton in another ETV Live Team Series car. 7th is going to be David Lanza. Timothy Silliman, 8th. 9th, John Abbott. 10th, Larry Mulliken. That's a Halls Up Post Motorsports driver. Jose Gonzalez is going to be 11th. Sean W. Brown, 12th. Brennan Traberco is going to be 13th. Jonathan Medellin is going to be 14th. 5th, Mark Bratcher. 16th, Steve Spees. 17th, Doug Roth. 18th, Glenn Hendrick. 19th, Joshua Harbertson. 20th, Billy Weeks. 21st, Guy Schneider the 4th. And rounding out your field in the 22nd place is Andrew Berger, the only car that did not take time today. Well, now that we got that out of the way, I think, Kyle, I'm going to make my pitch. I think Dwayne Vincent's going to be the driver to watch today. He's usually been really good on these cookie cutter tracks, so we're going to see how that's going to play out. But you also talked a little bit earlier that we had a little bit of a team rivalry going on last week between ETV Live Team Series and the Hollywood Motorsports. We've gotten word from Jerry Wolf that we shouldn't see anything happen this week between those two teams, but if something were to erupt, what do you think is going to happen?
I don't know. You know, with the second week in a rivalry, things could get a lot uglier if it does happen again. You know, with words with Jerry before we went onto the air, I believe that everything has been situated and handled, so we should be able to see a very clean and competitive race here tonight. Chicagoland is known for a lot of green flag racing, and so hopefully that plays true tonight, and we can see a great race, and hopefully these guys can keep this feud behind them and bring it out onto the racetrack and see who can come out top the right way.
For sure, as the pace car is going to work its way through the middle of 3 and 4 right now. Lights are out on top of the pace car. When that pace car makes that left-hand turn on the pit road, we're going to have to wait a little bit because the field will get the green flag on the green lights in their cars. And Greg McKinney will lead Dakota Urban and Dwayne Vincent and CJ Rivera as they come down to the line. Green flag up in the air as they're now underway.
Green flag is in the air here at Chicagoland Speedway. 100 laps getting ready to take place here. Dakota Urban with a great start over Greg McKinney. He's going to be able to clear him on the outside and put about a car length or two in between the two of them, while Dwayne Vincent is able to clear for the third position. Looks like Donnie Klein was able to get around CJ Rivera, and CJ Rivera dropping back to 6th place. He lost another spot to one of, that looks to be the number 8 machine of David Lanza. So Lanza now up to 5th, side by side for the lead. McKinney going to try and take it back. He's going to lead the lap barely over Dakota Urban. Urban trying to fight back on the top side, can't quite do it. He's now under attack from Dwayne Vincent.
Watch them through 1 and 2 there. That's going to be a trouble spot. It's going to see if the bumps are going to upset the cars, as McKinney's going to float up in front of Dakota Urban, as Dwayne Vincent's going to battle side by side with Dakota Urban as they go off into 3 and 4. And the 28 of the machine of Donnie Klein's now joining the battle up front here.
Urban going to try and clear down behind the number 6 machine of Dwayne Vincent. He is able to do that, and now David Lanza and Donnie Klein battling side by side for the 4th position. Heading into turn number 1, looks like Lanza has the advantage, and now CJ Rivera is going to try and sneak underneath of Klein after David Lanza clears. They are now side by side as they head into turn number 3. We've seen early with Dakota and now with Donnie Klein that outside line really is not the place to be. Looks like he was able to get back down. Donnie Klein was back behind CJ Rivera. Everybody single file through the first top 10 at least.
As we're kind of looking at the battle between John Abbott and Donnie Klein, Donnie Klein stuck in between the Full Throttle Cup Series sandwich here. They're looking to have a good day here, but the early contenders right now are the Full Throttle Cup Series and the Asphalt Assault Series, as they've got most of the spots here in the top 10.
Yeah, indeed they do. They're running right now 2nd and 4th, and the Full Throttle guys, they got one of the guys running in 5th place right now, 5th, 7th, and 8th, as it looks to be right now. It's very important to keep your team going good and running healthy throughout the race, and definitely very important to get off to a good start as well. That can only lead to good things down the road. And looks like Dwayne Vincent was thinking about maybe making a move on Greg McKinney right there off of turn 2. He couldn't quite do it, and now Urban is all over the rear end of Dwayne Vincent. He's trying to do something, and that brings the number 8 of David Lanza even closer. So these guys, maybe even using some of that draft a little bit to try and close up, and now we see the number 8 looking underneath of Dakota Urban. Urban's going to give him room to work with. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He gets a little loose off of turn number 2. Urban's going to clear. Now CJ Rivera going to try and make the attack on the top side. He can't do it. Lanza slams the door. Everybody stays clean and green.
As CJ Rivera is going to tuck in behind David Lanza, and he's going to get a little loose because of Donnie Klein right up on his back bumper, getting him a little aero loose, as Donnie Klein is going to work underneath the 11 machine of CJ Rivera. I know CJ Rivera's teammates are most likely going to let him back in line here, as they're going to all run the top side. and try to see if they can get a run on Donnie Klein, which they're not going to be able to do. So CJ LeVere is going to fall right back in behind Donnie Klein as they go down the backstretch.
The Full Throttle Cup guys looking to line up here and try to do something, but we have caution on the racetrack. Looks like there might have been some sort of problem towards the rear of the field. We will get on that as soon as we can and let you in on it. Yes, it is. We have a couple cars down in the grass on the backstretch. Looks like one of them is the number 27 of Steve Rosner, the number 14 of Joshua Harbison, and the number 32 of Rod Flagg involved. All three of those drivers for different racing teams. We're going to get to John on the ETV replay to figure out what happened between these drivers. So we're looking back here. Looking back towards the field, looks like these three were the three towards the back. It looks like there's actually a spin in front of them. It looks like Joshua Harbison was the first car to go around, but he was a couple cars ahead of the other two. Looking here, it looks like Josh Harbison made contact with one of the Asphalt Assault guys of Guy Snyder. He spun, and then it looks like Andrew Berger, no, that's Rod Flagg in the 32, excuse me. Looks like I think he got touched by somebody else, and then Rosner slid trying to avoid his spinning car, and didn't, I think actually he hit the wall and then slid down. So a couple different things going on there that all kind of combined into one accident.
For sure, as all the cars are going to come down pit road right now, I think you're going to see the strategy play in. Are you going to take 4? Are you going to take 2? Chicagoland's one of those old tracks that hasn't been really repaved recently, even in real life. So the fire fall off is pretty huge here. So you know what? I think I'm going to actually take my 2-tire thing back, and there goes everybody's left sides up. 4 tires. I think Dwayne Vincent is going to win the race off pit road. And Greg McKinney's going to lose a spot. So Dwayne Vincent up to the point.
It looks like he may not have done that, as Greg McKinney is pulling back around him. The advantages of having that number 1 pit stall. Dwayne Vincent was oh so close, couldn't quite get to him. Greg McKinney was just able to crawl just enough to be able to beat him out of pit road. Looking back at that, we have Greg McKinney coming out first with Dwayne Vincent, Donnie Klein, David Lanza, and Dakota Ehrman losing a couple of spots on pit road. Your top 5 heading out of the pits.
As we're going to go and take our first ETV Live, presented by the HD Radio Network commercial.
Racing Series returns to ETV Live on Tuesday nights following the Fast Track Racing Series radio show. After organizing a highly successful team series in 2010, Jerry Wolf is back with some kick butt, take no prisoners, team racing action like you have never seen before. The ETV Live Team Racing Series is sponsored by HD Radio Network, live on Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't wimp out, dude. Catch the action live at etv-eplay.net. Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV Live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HD SpaceRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com.
Welcome back to Chicagoland Speedway. Bit of a technical repair we need to make there under that commercial break. We have half of a lap to go before we go back green flag racing here as the field doubles up down the back straightaway. As we had mentioned, Greg McKinney, Dwayne Vincent, Donnie Klein, David Lanza, and Dakota Ehrman, your top 5 as we go back green. Rounding out the top 10, John Abbott, Jose Gonzalez, Michael Keaton, Brandon Chaburgo, and Mark Bratcher rounding out the top 10. Looks like we have the Asphalt Assault Series, the top 2 drivers on the outside line, and 2 ETV Live guys here just outside of the top 5. Pace car has just pulled down into the pits, about ready to go back green flag racing. The green flag is now out. McKinney and Vincent get off to a pretty even start. Looks like McKinney might have the advantage going into 1. And he does. He clears Dwayne Vincent.
They're going to work through way off of turn 2 onto the backstretch here. Greg McKinney is going to lead Dwayne Vincent, followed by Donnie Klein, trying to get to the inside of Dwayne Vincent as they go off into 3 and 4 here. Dakota Ehrman is going to dive it down below the 8 machine of David Lanza. They are 2 by 2, about 4 rows deep right now.
Caution flag is out once again. Rod Flag finding trouble again in turn number 3, I believe it was. Indeed it was. Rod Flag going around once again. Another incident with him. As looking back at it, looks like he got a little bit of help from the number 11 of CJ Oliveira. He got turned hard into the outside wall, and Steve Rosner nowhere to go, plows into the passenger side door. I heard some engine kabooms. I believe that was Rosner's machine. He looks to be done very early in tonight's event. That is going to be a big blow for him and his team. No pun intended there. Just nowhere to go for him, and he gets into the door of the 32.
It's definitely a tough break for Crossed Up Motorsports. They're going to lose one of their drivers here, so they'll have 3 left. Of the then it'll be the 26 machine of Steve Spees, the number 20 or the number 25 of Sean W. Brown, and also finally the number 28 machine of Donnie Klein. So definitely a tough break for Crossed Up Motorsports to have that. No takers on pit road this time. Not a surprise. They didn't even get half a lap in. Greg McKinney is still leading the way here, followed by Dwayne Vincent. Actually, I'm sorry, put Donnie Klein in 2nd position. 3rd is Dwayne Vincent. 4th is going to be Dakota Ehrman. And running out your top 5 is David Lanza. So obviously ETV Live is trying to get their first win still in this ETV Live Team Series. Hollywood Motorsports is still leading the way, followed by Crossed Up Motorsports. And this is all in your top 5 right now, but definitely in the top 5. Asphalt Assault Series is making some noise. They got both Dwayne Vincent and David Lanza.
Yeah, so far in the beginning half of this race, it looks to be Asphalt Assault who has put themselves atop of the podium so far. Still a long way to go. So, you know, anything can happen. We still can't rule out some of the other guys. But, yeah, after that successful week and a successful and crazy week at Iowa last week, to lose Steve Rosner as a part of the team for Crossed Up Motorsports, that's definitely going to hurt a little bit. That puts a lot more pressure on the remaining drivers to finish well, because the top 3 finishers for your team will be the ones who score points. So now with 1 gone, all 3 of these drivers will be credited for where they finish, so it's very important that they are able to finish as well as they can, because they're going to be the ones that count now. Rosner going to be taking that one, as you could say, bye for the team this week.
For sure, and you're also talking about last week at Iowa, how crazy that finish was. How about that NASCAR race at Fontana? Usually Fontana is a pretty boring track, but I'm pretty sure if you're not a NASCAR fan after that, you're a NASCAR fan. Holy jumpins', it was crazy.
Yeah, that's what I had mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast. We had our own little rivalry going on with the ETV Live team and the Hollywood Motorsports team. We had the Denny Hamlin-Joey Logano rivalry in Fontana, the NASCAR race, and we had Mark Webber and Sebastian Vettel going at it in the F1 race. So it's been a very interesting week of online and reality motorsports this week. I think the majority of the motorsports calendar is going to have the week off this week, but these guys here at the ETV Live Team Series presented by the HD Radio Network, they do not have a week off. They're back in action at Chicagoland, and bit of a slow start for right now, but once we get some green flag racing, and I think we can see a lot of great action. It should be very interesting to see who's going to be able to come out on top of this one.
For sure, we're going to definitely see who can save the car for the long run here if the green flag comes out. Remember that they're still going to have to make 2 stops here. Now that they got this caution, they're going to be able to make it past halfway, so it's not going to turn into a fuel mileage race, where sometimes these tracks do end up turning into that fuel mileage race because you can only make it usually to around 50 to 55 as a pit fuel window, and then all of a sudden you get that caution, it seems like every time at lap 46 or 47, and you go back green on lap 50, and all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, can I make it? As you do see now that the lights are all on top of the pace cars, are working their way through the exit of 2. Greg McKinney leading Donnie Klein. Dwayne Vincent is in 3rd. Dakota Erman 4th. And then the 5th place is David Lanza. And to his outside is Brendan Trico, and then behind Lanza again is Jose Gonzalez. 8th is John Abbott, 9th Mark Bratcher. Rounding out your top 10 is Jonathan Medellin in a Hulls on Post Motorsports car, and to his outside another Hulls on Motorsports car of Larry Mulkin. So definitely Hulls on Post is trying to make their way through the team, or through the field. Sorry. So right now we got Asphalt Assault, we got Full Throttle Cup Series on top of each other, and actually looking down at my little thing here, Steve Rosner has taken his car behind the wall. He is done for the day, and Michael Keaton just had a connection blip. So definitely a tough break for him, as the pace car is going to work its way through 4. Then it's going to make that left-hand turn onto pit road, leave the field into the hands of Greg McKinney and Donnie Klein. Look for Klein to make a good start here, as green flag is up in the air. As they're back underway, Greg McKinney is going to get a great start. Dwayne Vincent's going to try to work underneath Donnie Klein as they go off into 1 and 2.
Side by side as they head off into 1 and 2, some tight side-by-side racing there behind the leader Greg McKinney. 2 by 2, the Asphalt Assault guys take it on Donnie Klein and Dakota Erman. They're still side by side as they work their way off of turn 2. Looks like maybe Dakota giving a bit of a bump to Donnie Klein, telling him to get on at it, boy, you gotta go here. You gotta make something happen. Finally, Dwayne Vincent is able to clear those 2 on the bottom side of turn number 3. His focus is now set on the number 23 in front of him of Greg McKinney. Meanwhile, Dakota Erman and Donnie Klein, no, that's not Donnie Klein, David Lanza, my bad, battling side by side for the 4th position. Lanza trying to get up to his teammate Dwayne Vincent and help him out, try to propel him into the lead with getting around Greg McKinney. But that plan is going to be cut just a little bit short as Donnie Klein moves his way into 2nd place.
A little bit further back in the pack right now, around the 12th, 11th, and 13th position. We got a little bit of a hornet's nest going on. We got the 2 Hollywood Motorsports drivers, Jesse Murphy and Ryan Manning, racing side by side, and behind them we also got Tony Bowling and a Hulls on Post Motorsports team, as they're going to go 3 wide. Wow, obviously Larry Mulligan's having some problems with handling issues on the Hulls on Post Chevrolet, as they go off into 3 and 4 right now. The 9 machine, I think that is Doug Roth, is working onto the outside of Jesse Murphy as they come down the front straightaway here. CJ Lavere is going to try to use the apron. That works sometimes, but you got to be careful that you don't make that car upset as you come back on the track and lose it. Yeah, we'll be seeing quite a bit of that tonight with a track with that big of apron space in the trial. A lot of drivers tend to go down there and use that to try to take advantage. But as you had said, Kyle, it does get very, very slippery making that transfer from the flat apron up to the banking in the trial, and that can lead to some problems as it's shown before. Hopefully that doesn't become a problem as you see some more drivers starting to use that again. It's just going to be something that is going to be used quite a bit. You see it a lot, so look out for that. That could be able to make some important moves towards the end of the race. So there's a car on the march right now, and that's the 24 of the Hollywood Motorsports machine of Mark Bratcher. He qualified back in the 15th position. He is now running in the 8th position. He has his eyes set on Jose Gonzalez. He is running faster lap times than Jose Gonzalez. So Mark Bratcher and Hollywood Motorsports trying to make some noise here, even though they are out of the championship picture, which is unfortunate here. So obviously Hollywood Motorsports is trying to make some gains here on this setup, as also now Ryan Manning is trying to work underneath the 4 machine of Jonathan Medellin and pulling behind his teammate. He's got the preferred line going off into 3 and 4. Jonathan Medellin's going to run it a little bit up high. He's going to try to pull it down. He's going to get a little bit loose on the outside. Ryan Manning's going to take over your number 9 position.
Yeah, Kyle, these guys definitely know that Greg McKinney is up there in the lead, and even though they are probably out of the championship hope, they do not want to go down and be known as a weak force heading into the next season. They want to finish up this the second half of the season very strong and want to make sure they can get every point they can. I believe they headed into this race 90 points out of the team in front of them. But they don't care. They have a mission. They want to finish as well as they can and work as well as they can as a team together, which is that's a good thing to see. That's a good thing to know that these guys are not letting the reality sink in. They want to still go out there and finish as strong as they can week in and week out.
Well, Ryan Manning, if he can get by the number 10 machine of John Abbott, is going to make the 4 Hollywood Motorsports cars inside the top 10, so definitely a strong showing from Hollywood Motorsports. Everything's sort of kind of mellowing out, kind of searching around right now for a battle on the track, and actually we do have that one in kind of way further back in the pack. It's for the 19/20th position. You got the number 26 machine of Steve Spees working onto the outside of the number 15 machine of Timothy Stillman. So let's cross up Motorsports going at each other with ETV Live Team Series. So definitely still racing all around this track right now, but everything's sort of mellowing out here as we're getting hopefully prepared to get a long green flag run in to see what these guys have.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You see a lot of green flag racing at this racetrack on TV, and these guys know that. With last week it was a little bit of a struggle to get some green flag racing in. So these guys kind of taking it easy, coming out. They still got a long way to go. We actually just passed the 1/4 mark, so we're a quarter of the way through this race. Still trying to figure some things out and set themselves in position towards the end, but. They realize that you have to finish in order to be able to finish well. So some really smart and respectful racing going on right now, and everybody giving each other room as well. Looking back at that battle with Steve Spees, Doug Roth just got a piece of the wall off at turn 4. He's going to lose quite a bit of positions. He's struggling out there.
Definitely Full Throttle Motorsports is so far just going backwards, so maybe they missed something on the setup, and we're going to see Ryan Manning work underneath. CJ Rivera, he got a huge run off of 2 using the high side, going to pull underneath John Abbott as they go off into 3 and 4. Well, Hollywood Motorsports has got 4 cars inside the top 10. One is leading, and that's Greg McKinney. He has not been able to pull away from the field, really, because of how the draft works here. And also you got, I think it's 8th, 9th, and 10th is also Hollywood Motorsports here, as we're still having a battle between Ryan Manning and John Abbott, as Ryan Manning is going to start to pull away a little bit here, back up front. It's still, nothing's really changed. This Rod Flag is going to give away to the leaders here, as Greg McKinney is going into underneath the third damage 32 machine of Rod Flag. Unfortunately, Dwayne Vincent did not get the same luxury here. He had to pedal it a little bit off the board.
That's going to cause a bit of a stack up behind him. David Lanza and Donnie Klein starting to reel Dwayne Vincent in, and they kind of got together a little bit, maybe a little bumping action going on right there. And now Dakota Ehrman closing into the rear end of Donnie Klein. Dakota's strong, as we had said before. He's trying to work his way back out towards the front of the field. He is currently the leader for the ETV Live team, and after the controversy that they dealt with last week, they definitely want to get over that, and they want a strong going here at Chicagoland. And Dakota is definitely working on that for these guys. Trying to get up there and trying to represent for ETV Live. But right now, as we had mentioned, and it looks to be holding true so far, the team to beat right now is the Asphalt Assault guys. The 2 of them, I believe they have a couple more drivers on their stable, just not quite up as far as they are. Actually, I believe they are the one missing a driver. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Kyle, but they're definitely representing so far.
I think they are the one that's missing. I think it's Bobby Terrell is the only one that is missing so far out of this race. So far, these guys won a race. So the ETV Live Team Series, if you're looking to try to get into it next season, we'll be definitely open to registers and just talk to Dakota Ehrman, Jerry Wolf when they put this on next season. You try to get your team signed up, get a few drivers together, go home, and hopefully win a championship, because this is definitely a really good series. But so far, everything's really mellowed out. Everybody's kind of gone into single file line, into single file. Greg McKinney is now starting to pull away from Dwayne Vincent about a tenth or two a lap here. So nothing's really changed. So we're going to go a little bit further back. Jose Gonzalez is going to try to work underneath the 13 machine of Dakota Ehrman as they go off into 3 and 4. Dakota Ehrman is just going to basically let Jose Gonzalez by. No point fighting him here now. We still have about 68 laps to go at the line.
Jose making the move. He puts a full throttle car up into the top 5 as Dakota Ehrman slips back to 6th place. And you know, I was thinking as you were talking about, I want to go back and mention the Asphalt Assault guys again. With them missing Bobby Terrell, you know, we had said, oh wow, a big wiggle, holy cow, from David Lanza. He went all the way to the bottom of the racetrack. That's going to hurt his turn 3 entry a little bit. Maybe Donnie Klein. Nope, he's not going to be able to get to the outside of him. Actually, the 28, or not the 28, the 8 machine is getting underneath of the 6 machine. He actually was able to use that lower entrance to work around his teammate, and unfortunately Donnie Klein is going to do the same, and Klein was actually looking underneath of going underneath the Lanza into turn 1 and forcing the issue. Now we have Jose Gonzalez and Dakota Ehrman closing in on the battle. 5 cars really, really tight. These guys are pumping. Dakota Ehrman touches the wall a little bit. He backs off of the battle just a touch, getting really aggressive right here.
As Dwayne Vincent's working all over the back bumper of the 28 machine of Donnie Klein here. Watch for Dwayne Vincent to try to get as close as possible to that back bumper of Donnie Klein to try to get him loose through the middle and off of the corner, as he's going to pull right up to the back bumper of that 28 machine. Nothing doing here. He kind of didn't get the corner the way he wanted to. So obviously, Dwayne Vincent scratching his head a little bit. Why did his teammate race him the way he did? Because that just cost them another position there. So definitely an interesting strategy behind David Lanza. As Donnie Klein's going to get a little loose, that's going to allow for the number 6 machine of Dwayne Vincent to work underneath him as they go off in 1 and 2.
Dwayne Vincent trying to get back with his teammate David Lanza. He will be able to do so, and Donnie Klein goes around off the bumper of Jose Gonzalez. He hits the outside wall hard and pulls it back down in front of traffic. Wow, tough racing. Unfortunately comes down to that. Another hard blow for the Crossed Up Motorsports guys. That's their 2nd car involved in some sort of accident here tonight. And Donnie Klein backed into the wall really. I can't imagine he's too happy with Jose Gonzalez. We're still just shy of halfway, and 2 Crossed Up Motorsports drivers in trouble.
Well, definitely, Jose Gonzalez fired that car off into 1 and 2 there. Unfortunately, Donnie Klein came down, ran out of room, got kind of hooked on Jose Gonzalez's back bumper, backed it hard into the fence. That's definitely a hard hit. You're going to see all these drivers come down pit road, and they're going to take 4 tires. Obviously, again, this week, Greg McKinney is the driver to leading the way, but unlike Iowa, his car seems to be in and ready to go right from the drop of the green flag. At Iowa, it kind of took him about 3 or 4 laps, which kind of burnt him a couple times here. So we're going to see definitely a different strategy with the setup making for Greg McKinney, as they're all going to make that left-hand turn onto pit road here. We're going to see who wins the race off.
As they head their way down, you know, this is a great shot to be able to view where the teams are setting in. And those Hollywood Motorsports guys, they are knocking on the door of Asphalt Assault. All 4 of them were just into the top 9 right there. This is going to be a very good battle off of pit road to see how everybody's going to shape up. But I would think after a pretty decent green flag run right there, you would think that everybody's going to go 4 tires here.
Maybe one guy in the back might take 2 tires, but I highly doubt it here, as both the left sides are going to go up on the 6 machine of Dwayne Vincent and David Greg McKinney. I'm not sure by my camera angle, but did David Lanza actually beat Greg McKinney off pit road?
I'm not sure. I was trying to look at that myself. I'd seen the commitment line, or the timing line at the end of pit road there. That was very, very close between those two. I'm not 100% sure who got that looking through the field. It looks like they gave it to Greg McKinney, but just by a skosh. It's that first pit stall, man. That first pit stall is definitely where you want to be. Just gotta tap the gas a little bit and just get your splitter across that line, and you'll have the win off of pit road.
And without a doubt, as Rod Flagg is going to get the ETV Live Lucky Dog. As we're going to take a commercial break, we're going to come back with more Green Flag Racing from here at Chicagoland Motor Speedway.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50-caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
Welcome back here at Chicagoland Motor Speedway for the ETV Live Team Series presented by HG Radio Network, the leader in sim broadcasting. Well, Donnie Klein in the crossed-up Motorsports car, unfortunately, has taken his car behind the wall. He has climbed out. He is done for the day, so tough break for the crossed-up Motorsports drivers.
Yeah, indeed it is. And as I look through the field, it looks like the other two crossed-up Motorsports guys are just outside of the top 10. So it's going to be very hard for those guys to repeat their victory from last week at Iowa. And looking after the pit stops, how they have shaken up, it looks like the Hollywood Motorsports guys, they are really, really knocking at that back door. They're nearly knocking that back door over for Asphalt Assault. It's going to be very interesting and entertaining to see what they can do off of this restart. The Ford Mustang pace car pulls down onto the pit road, leaving the field to the hands of Greg McKinney. McKinney going to stab the gas as the green flag is back out. A bit of a checkup on the top side line there with Mark Bratcher, Dakota Ehrman, and looks like Brendan Chaburko now making his way into the top 10 through pits. McKinney clears Lanza and Vincent. Lanza now makes his way down to the bottom side, leaving Dakota Ehrman, the first guy up top. He's going to come down in front of his teammate, side by side for second on back. Lanza clears as they head into 3.
Wow, Chaburko almost turned the 24 machine to Mark Bratcher as they went 3 wide there. That was a hell of a save by Mark Bratcher as they're still almost trying to wreck each other. As further back in the pack, the 7 machine I'm not sure who that is, got sideways. He's in the grass. He's back on the apron. He is still going. That was a crazy save there. As back up front, we got a battle for the lead here. The number 8 machine of David Lanza is trying to work underneath. Greg McKinney had nothing coming off the corner as Dakota Ehrman's going to work onto the outside of David Lanza.
McKinney holds him off. Now Ehrman going to try and make something happen on the top side. It looks like he has the advantage coming off of turn number 4. He might be able to clear him. He's definitely going to have the spot at the line. Looks like the number 8 machine, the Lands, are going to fight back at the exit of the tribal and make it happen down to the bottom of turn number 1. Still fighting there. Ehrman not going to let him give that spot, and Greg McKinney's looking in his rearview mirror. He's waving. We got a car sideways. It's Vincent. He goes all the way down to the grass line, but is able to hang on. That puts him 3 wide for the 4th place. Everybody going to figure it all out. We are still green flag racing, and as I was mentioning, Greg McKinney going to look in the mirror, and he's just waving goodbye as these guys race sideways.
Further back in the pack, Mark Bratcher got loose, took out a couple cars, no caution, as now they're wrecking big. John Abbott goes around. There's a bunch of cars to collect it. Mark Bratcher's involved. The 26 machine of Steve Spees is involved. That was just big. That was huge.
Yeah, I seen the 10 car go head on into the wall. It looks like he took out one of his other teammates, and I saw the number 22 of Ryan Manning involved as well. Looks like Full Throttle and Hollywood Motorsports taking a couple hits in this one. Looking back at what happened, you know, we saw how close that racing was towards the front, but just shy of those guys, it looks like it got a little bit hairier.
Well, that's just the unfortunate thing about auto racing. One moment you could be having the best car, and your whole team could be marching to the front. Next moment, you're getting involved in a wreck, and all of a sudden, your whole team's gone.
Indeed it is, and looking back at that, it looks like the number 24 just got a touch loose off of turn number 4, and the 12 car didn't quite see it. He got into the back of him, turned him sideways. The 2 car made some contact from the 24, and it looked okay until the 10 car had to make an evasive maneuver and went to the outside, broke his car loose, and overcorrected into the outside wall into the middle of traffic. And barely missing him is that number 30 machine, I believe, a Super Speedway Cup guy. The asphalt was, no, that's the Crossed Up Motorsports, barely avoiding it, and then the 26 comes down onto the 22 machine. The 15 of Timothy Silliman gets a big chunk of it. The 22 of Ryan Manning, Doug Roth, and the 9 involved. So quite a mess in turn number 1 off of just a slight mistake from Mark Bratcher, and we've got cars spinning and crashing everywhere.
Oh, remember what I said, that it'll sometimes come down to fuel strategy? Well, we've got 46 to go, so they might be able to make it. But both Greg McKinney and Dakota Ehrman stayed out. Everybody else came in onto pit road here. I think Brandon Schaberko and somebody else also stayed out. So Dwayne Vincent's going to most likely, or actually David Lanz is going to win the race off of pit road. As actually Dwayne Vincent's actually, yeah, Dwayne Vincent, sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just kind of all scatterbrained right now. Dwayne Vincent is going to beat David Lanza off pit road. Doesn't really matter. They're teammates for the Asphalt Assault Series. So definitely an interesting strategy here, because they might be able to make it all the way if it goes green. We're going to step away for another commercial here, come back with more green flag racing here at Chicagoland Motor Speedway.
It's time for those most famous words in motorsports. Travis, start your engine!
Michael Conti comes up at a corner number 4 to the checkered flag. He wins his first. InsideSimRacing.tv, the fastest show on the internet. Sim racing news and reviews since 2007, with new shows every week.
Welcome back to the Chicagoland Motor Speedway here. 100 laps around this 1.5 mile cookie cutter track. Top 4 stayed out. Greg McKinney, Dakota Ehrman, Brendan Traburco, and the 7 machine of Guy Schneider the 4th. So interesting strategy here. This restart's probably going to be crazy. These guys are going to try not to get run over. We didn't have too long of a green flag run, but it doesn't matter here. The one to fall off here at Chicagoland Motor Speedway is crazy because it's not a paved track. Bottom's the fastest way around as the pace car is going to make that left-hand turn onto pit road, leave the field in the hands of Greg McKinney. Green flag is going to go up in the air as they're underway here. Greg McKinney's going to get a good start. Guy Schneider the 4th got a hell of a start as he's going to try to make it 3 wide on the top side of Dakota Ehrman. And Brendan Traburco thought better of it as they're going to try to file in single file as they go all through number 2 onto the backstretch.
Yeah, that was a quick move that died quickly there for Guy Schneider the 4th. He stayed out and tried to make something of it instead of just being a hold-up for the field. In that incident, we saw 2 Hollywood Motorsports guys get crashed out, and now the 3rd Asphalt Assault driver up there. So that's going to be a big shakeup on how this finishes up in the points. As those 3 drivers for Asphalt Assault battle now is CJ LeVere underneath of Jesse Murphy, I believe that is, in the 21, trying to make some moves just inside of the top 10. Ooh, wow, Guy Schneider gets a big push in the middle of the turn. He has to back off a little bit to keep it out of the wall. We are 3 wide behind them, getting kind of dicey again. Guy Schneider the 4th is going to fall victim to CJ LeVere and also Jesse Murphy in the 21 machine of the Hollywood Motorsports. Obviously that car is definitely not handling the way he wants it to. He's going to fall back in line here. He's going to try to see what he can do with that car on old tires if he can hold off these guys. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if he can do that. Normally the old tires aren't right where you want to do it, but it doesn't seem like it's affecting them too much as they're still kind of right around where they restarted. But looking back now towards the front, more Dakota Ehrman trying to get and squeezing underneath of the number 29 of Brendan Traburco for 2nd place. He's going to bring along the number 6 of Dwayne Vincent, who nearly makes contact with Traburco. Traburco sideways off of turn 2. He hangs on, lands a sideways off of turn 2. Everybody trying to follow around Brendan Traburco. Can't quite do it. Everybody's still hanging on, though, and keeping it clean.
As they're going to work onto the front stretch here, Greg McKinney is going to read another lap. Further back in the pack, Jesse Murphy just took Guy Schneider the 4th and CJ LeVere. 3 wide for a brief second, no harm doing there. As Jesse Murphy's going to run Guy Schneider the 4th back up the track. A little bit further back up front, Brendan Traburco is going to work onto the inside of the 13 machine of Dakota Ehrman. Nothing doing here, so Dwayne Vincent's going to go to the outside of Traburco. Traburco's been running that car sideways. We saw it at Iowa. We're seeing it again here as he's going to clip the apron. He's going to check up. He's going to get sideways again. Dwayne Vincent's going to go by him.
Maybe those old tires starting to kick in and hurt in the number 29 machine just a little bit. Now Jesse Murphy with a massive run through the front stretch and into turn 1 behind Traburco. The Asphalt Assault guys of David Lands and Guy Schneider the 4th going to try and work their way around the 2 of them on the top side. Dwayne Vincent making the move underneath of Dakota Erman for second place as they head into turn 3. He's able to clear, nearly touching, as Brandon Chaburko and David Lanza. Chaburko bounces off the apron, holds those guys up. Lavere getting in the back of Jesse Murphy. These guys getting hairy and scary off of turn number 4, beating and banging. They're nearly 4 wide. A car sideways down on the apron. This racing is getting nuts.
That was the 12 machine of Jose Gonzalez getting loose on the apron here as Michael Keaton's trying to block. As he throws a block on the number 30 machine of Andrew Berger, he's not going to like that. Berger's going to try to shove Keaton off into the corner. Nothing doing there. A little bit further up, we got Jesse Murphy lurking underneath the 29 machine of Brandon Chaburko. He's still getting super loose.
Chaburko restarting in, I believe it was like second or third. He's now fallen back to 8th place. Those tires are definitely starting to kick in as now Michael Keaton is going to make the move underneath of him, and he has Andrew Berger right behind him. They nearly make contact with the 29 machine. Brandon's strategy of staying out definitely starting to bite him in the rear a little bit as he works his way back towards the rear. And the same story is being told up front as Greg McKinney pulls away just under 7/10 of a second of a lead up front over Dwayne Vincent.
Well, right now Greg McKinney's starting to hope for a caution play because they cannot. Greg McKinney, Guy Shiner the fourth, Brandon Chaburko, and I can't remember the other guy that did not pit on that last caution. They can't make it. Everybody else can, if they pedal it a little bit, most likely will be able to make it. But kind of given the situation that this race has been going so far, I highly doubt we're done seeing cautions here. As we're going to look a little bit further back, Jose Gonzalez is going to go underneath the 25 machine of Sean W. Brown as they go off into 1 and 2.
Jose is going to be able to complete that pass, and yeah, the way that those guys were racing right there, I would be surprised if we stay caution-free throughout the rest of the way. It looks like the racing is calmed down a little bit, and they're starting to go single file and spread out just a touch. Looking back towards here, this is where you, oh wow, a big wiggle from Chaburko, and he nearly gets clobbered in the rear end by Tony Bowling. Chaburko going to move to the top side of the racetrack, allow Bowling to go underneath. Bowling clears into turn 1. Now it's Jose Gonzalez's turn. Actually, no. Chaburko gets a run on the top side. Sideways is Chaburko. Those tires are definitely hurting Brandon Chaburko. He is praying that something happens for somebody else, and he gets a yellow flag, and he is barely holding on and keeping that yellow flag from being him.
As he gets super loose again, a little bit of a puff of smoke as he's even more loose. Chaburko, we obviously know he likes to set up his cars loose, but this is ridiculous. He's definitely burned off the right rear for now. I think we're going to have to focus on him for a little bit because he's probably going to loop it if somebody gets underneath him again. As he's sideways again, coming off of 2, he's just basically drifting it through the corner. That's how bad it is.
As you see from this in-car shot, we're going to try and get a little visual on these hands. He is working the tail off of his race car to try and keep it going. I can't believe he hasn't spun out yet. I mean, he was all over the place. I think he mistook this racetrack for a dirt track somewhere just outside of the area. But this is nuts. You see him sideways. Look at how much he's working that steering wheel through turn number 2. That is just nuts.
Well, it also depends on what his degrees of rotation is. In iRacing, you can set up anywhere from like 10 degrees of rotation to 900 as he's going to get super loose coming off of 4 again. He's going to try to work to the inside of Sean Brown. That might not be a smart move on Chaburko. I think he should just kind of stay in line, see what his car is going to do if it gets more loose, because at this rate, he's going to lose it.
Unbelievable, but I gotta say that is quite a good piece of driving by the number 29 of Brandon Chaburko to be able to be sliding all over the place like that and able to hang on. Getting away from the chaos that's ensuing with the number 29 machine, Greg McKinney, same story as last week. He is out in front and starting to pull away once again up to just under 9/10 of a second over the 2 Asphalt Assault drivers of Dwayne Vincent and David Lanza. Dakota Erman and Guy Snyder, the 4th, rounding out your top 5. I had a feeling that McKinney was going to be as strong as he was last week. It's not a surprise. This It's a shame that Hollywood Motorsports had the struggles that they did the first couple of races, because if they had this lineup heading into the beginning of the season, they would definitely be a force to be reckoned with.
For sure, but right now the team to beat is the Asphalt Assault Series. They got 3 of their 4 drivers. Actually, they got 3 of their 3 drivers because Bobby Terrell is not here this weekend within the top 7. So they're looking for a big points day today. As Traburco is going to work underneath the 2 machine of Tony Bowling here. As Traburco is going to get, surprise, surprise, loose again off of 4. Tony Bowling is going to battle back around on the outside.
Traburco probably starting to get a little bit used to what his car is doing now that we've gotten a couple laps under green flag, so he's starting to get a little comfortable with it and starting to make some moves around some cars, as now Bowling lost the battle and now he's going to fight back underneath of him in turn number 3 and trying to clear in the middle of turn 4. He does. Brendan Traburco falls back to that spot. Dirt track ended off at turn 4 but hangs on. He's going to use that momentum and try to squeeze underneath of Tony as they hit the stripe. Can't quite do it. Tucks up underneath of the rear. Not going to be able to make something happen into turn number 1. Traburco now is starting to survive a little bit sideways again. Gosh! This is insane. I can't believe he is still hanging on to this thing.
Well, I for sure would have probably stuffed it into the outside wall by now.
Oh yeah, I agree. I probably would have been flipping down the backstretch with how loose his car is. I don't think I've ever seen somebody be this loose and hang on for it for this long. I definitely think that he's regretting his strategy of staying out there, and they get close into turn 2. Wiggles it again, but hangs on. Gosh, Brennan, I can't believe this. This is insane.
I think I'd be yelling at my crew chief right now, add all the wedge back into it, because we did something bad as he's going to get loose and he's almost going to get up into Tony Bowling as he's even more sideways again. John, if it's possible, can we do a split screen? Can we also have just Traburco on one screen just to show how loose he is? And a little bit further up, we got a battle for the 10th position between Andrew Berger and Jose Gonzalez here. So definitely crazy racing going on, even if you're by yourself or you're in a pack of cars.
Best green flag run we have had all night so far. The number 30 machine of Andrew Berger trying to make the move on Jose Gonzalez at the bottom of turn number 4. Berger gets a touch loose that's going to allow Jose to clear him, and now the number 25 machine of Sean Brown going to come up around the outside of the number 30 machine. Sean trying to salvage any points that his team can get. They are sitting with 2 drivers out of the race. And unfortunately, it is going to be Donnie Klein who is going to count for the points. So 1 car out, Sean Brown trying to make the best that he can and survive with his team.
And we're going to take our last commercial break here, and we're going to come back for the finish of the race here at Chicagoland Motor Speedway.
If you're a serious online racing enthusiast, you need Derek Spear Design, maker of high-quality, custom-built, and 50-caliber strong simulation racing products like button boxes, shifter pedals, component parts, and more. The advantage a championship sim racing driver needs. Rated 10 out of 10 by Inside Sim Racing TV. Check out his line of top-shelf sim racing products, reasonably priced at DerekSpearDesigns.com, and buckle in for a no-nonsense ride. DerekSpearDesigns.com today, cowboy.
Welcome back here, as we did show under our side-by-side with the commercials. Drennan Traburko still wheeling that 29 machine. He's definitely, I don't know, he's going to probably use up all of his energy. Also, under that commercial break, there was a single car spin of Glenn Hendrick. No wrongdoing, no caution, we stay green. Traburko's like, well, crap, now I got to keep wheeling this car.
Indeed, he does. He was hoping that was the yellow flag. He wants some news. He wants some new stickers. He's now in trouble. Brendan Traburko into the wall, and he's out of the grass. And I can tell by looking at that machine through the grass, he might have some toe problems. We knew it was probably going to happen, and it was only a matter of time. And unfortunately, it did, and it hit hard. He has got some major problems with that number 29 machine.
Traburko definitely came off a fourth. Car kicked around on him more than he expected. I think more than any of us expected. He corrected it once, gathered it back up, it got loose on him again, and he just destroyed the outside wall. That car is pretty much destroyed, so unfortunately tough break for Traburko. He was hanging on for dear life, and unfortunately it finally caught up to him. Nothing's really changed up front, and you still got Greg McKinney leading David Lanza and Dwayne Vincent from the Asphalt Assault Series.
Nothing changed up front, and more problems for Brendan Traburko. He spun it coming down onto the pit road. So nothing like a little salt into the open wound right there. That's going to be quite a lengthy repair if he decides to sit through and take that repair. But as we were looking at that, we had seen, or I had seen, looking at the leaderboard. I'm curious if McKinney is having to slow down and save some fuel. We saw him stay out on that last yellow flag as well, and I saw him lost about 4/10, and now he lost another 2/10 to David Lanza. And I believe now we have the crazy guy behind the number 29 in the booth. Kyle, you got him?
I'm pretty sure Traburko's here. Well, we were all watching in the booth, holding our breath for the last 30 laps. What was that like inside the car?
Oh man, it was wicked loose. I didn't have much practice with this setup, and definitely wish I would have practiced some more. I mean, it was just wicked loose. I was just trying to hold on. I figured that was pretty much inevitable.
Yeah, we're all holding our breaths here, and also John and JD are both in my ear like, oh my god, this kid's wheeling the crap out of it. I don't mean to call you a kid, sorry for that, but it's just like one of those things, just watching you drive this car. It's like probably about 25 laps ago I probably would have stuffed it into the outside wall.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the loosest race cars I've ever, driven.
Oh, tough break for you. Tell us who makes it happen for you, though.
Definitely all the guys at Super Speedway Cup every week. They put together a setup for me. I wish I would have had some more, input in the setup. I didn't get to be in the practice room last night. We did, but unfortunate night, but it happens.
That was Brendan Traburko on that crazy loose 29 machine. And you were talking a little bit earlier about Greg McKinney losing time to David Lanza and also Dwayne Vincent. Greg McKinney's been clutching it going off into these corners, so he's been losing a tenth to 2/10 of a lap on these guys. So obviously, Greg McKinney is just absolutely praying for a caution right now. I highly doubt he's going to get it. They are both, Asphalt Assault Series cars are both about a tenth to 2/10 faster than him. So tough break for that. And also a little bit further back, your third Asphalt Assault Series car of Guy Schneider the fourth is also going to have to probably save some fuel because he didn't pit on that last caution, so he might be in trouble also.
Yeah, I figured with those drivers who had stayed out under that last yellow flag, I believe it was just about halfway, so I think we've been going here for close to 30 laps on this green flag run. And you had mentioned it with the drivers who did pit. With him staying out, and I had seen the ticker starting to close in the gap between McKinney and Lanza, I had figured that he'd be saving, but I mean, I'm not 100% how much fuel they get, but I don't even know if even saving is going to be able to get him enough to the finish.
Well, for sure. He'd probably I'm not sure how much we had on that last green flag run, but he almost has to do like 60, 65 laps, which is crazy without saving fuel. So right now he's just running it all out, hoping he's going to get a caution. But unfortunately behind them, the two Asphalt Assault Series drivers, David Lanza and Dwayne Vincent, I've got the draft going on, and they're closing in a hurry on him. Greg McKinney's got absolutely nothing to lose now. It's either he gets a caution or he's losing it, as he's going to get into the outside wall a little bit coming off of 4.
McKinney hits the stripe. We have 18 laps of racing to go. Is he going to be able to hang on not only to the fuel and the lead, but is he going to be able to hold off those Asphalt Assault guys? They are working great together. They are working their way through the field. And if we remember how things have gone for us, Kyle, this might be our first week, but the top 3 are not different teams. We might have the Asphalt Assault guys finish back-to-back right here.
That might end up happening, and if that's the case, then Dakota Ehrman will be the top finishing ETV Live team guy, so he'll get an interview. So maybe David Lanza and Dwayne Vincent battle it out for an interview spot? Possibly.
It'd be interesting to see that happen. And, you know, you had mentioned that Guy Snyder was on the same strategy. I don't know how big it's going to impact the team, you know, with David and Dwayne running up front. But with Guy having, if he does have to come in and pit or he runs out of fuel or something, that's going to drop Guy down lower into the leaderboard. And there's only 3 Asphalt Assault cars here, so Guy Snyder is going to count for points for these Asphalt Assault guys. Looking through the field, I believe it's still kind of spread out, so maybe it won't hurt them too much, but it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens at the end of these last 15 laps.
Well, also, I forgot that the other car that did not pit on that last caution was Dakota Ehrman. He is now starting to save fuel like crazy, as Guy Schneider the 4th is going to come up to the back bumper of Dakota Ehrman. He is most likely going to go onto the inside here, or they're both saving fuel. So, either way, Dakota Ehrman definitely struggling. Jesse Murphy, Hollywood Motorsports, starting to come to the field. So, it's kind of funny. He got the Hollywood Motorsports 1 and 4th, and he got Asphalt Assault 2nd and 3rd. So, those have been the 2 dominant teams today. So far, that's how it looks like it's going to be playing out so far. But we're coming down to the stripe. We're going to have 14 to go this time by. Greg McKinney is just praying for a caution.
Oh, looking back at Dakota Ehrman, Asphalt Assault driver Guy Snyder gets a bit of contact from, I believe it was number 9 of Doug Roth. He got into the wall and he got into the door of the number 7 machine. That was crazy. And McKinney was praying that would have been that moment if he would have been able to see that. But everybody's still staying clean and green. I think this is going to be the most interesting and close points finish that we're going to have. We have 2 Hollywood Motorsports drivers in the top 4. We have 2 Asphalt Assault drivers in the top 4. Guy Snyder just moved his way into the top 5, but he may have to pit from staying out on that last caution. This is going to be a very brutal battle to see who is going to take home the victory on the team side of things for this race.
Also, don't forget Jesse Murphy in a Hollywood Motorsports car is 4th, so definitely right now advantage Asphalt Assault Series. They got 3 cars inside the top 5. Dakota Ehrman is clutching it like there is no tomorrow here, so he's going to fall further and further back. They are now back up front. David Lanza and Dwayne Vincent are absolutely closing the gap in on Greg McKinney. Greg McKinney at this point, it's either go big or go home, and right now he's choosing to go big. He is saving no fuel right now.
No, he is not. And maybe if that team was in a chance for the points, then maybe he'd have a different outcome and a different strategy into this. But these guys are straight up just going for wins and making themselves try and look good. And they are definitely getting a lot of time out in front of this race. But those Asphalt Assault guys are closing in. They are just under 0.6 of a second behind Greg McKinney. That's the closest that they have been since the drop of the green flag to start this run. The number 32 machine of Rod Flag, he is just in front of leader Greg McKinney. He's going to hold the high side and let these 3 drivers go on by and let them fight it out as they hit the line. 10 laps of racing to go for these drivers. Just within a half a second now is David Lanza and Dwayne Vincent. Now, here's the question, Kyle. Say these 2 guys catch Greg McKinney, they pass Greg McKinney, McKinney has to pit, he runs out of fuel, whatever. How do these guys figure out who's going to win this race?
Well, given the gap that they got back to Jesse Murphy right now, as we got a spinner on the front straightaway here. Mark Bratcher is going to bring out a caution for Greg McKinney. So definitely a tough break here. We're going to take a look back at that replay quickly. Unfortunately, Mark Bratcher got into the outside wall, got to the inside, overcorrected it completely. I'm sorry. That's a self spin and come back up on the track for me. I'm sorry, but race control is definitely going to need to take a look at that one.
Wow, that is that's interesting. We got some more controversy going on again, and I don't think you're the only one who thinks that is could be a little sketchy. Guy Snyder the fourth that's in the same. He posted a cute down in the driver communications, but I don't know. I don't know. This is gonna be nuts. We've seen Greg McKinney be as fast as he has always been. These two Asphalt Assault guys have been closing in. If McKinney's able to hold enough fuel, is he going to be able to just straight up go on and go away? Or are these Asphalt Assault guys going to be able to close in? And now we got another driver. Glenn Hedrick is kind of questioning what happened right there. So this is bringing it back to some more controversy here, guys.
Well, we thought it was over last week. Started up again. Mark Bratcher, definitely a teammate of Greg McKinney, spun it out on the front straightaway here. Greg McKinney is basically a sitting duck here. I guarantee you David Lanza, Dwayne Vincent, and everybody else is going to do the complete opposite of what Greg McKinney does.
And you know, I would kind of think it'd be a little silly for McKinney to go in and pit right here. There are currently 17 cars on the lead lap, and no matter what he does for strategy, I mean, there's going to be somebody who stays out. There's no doubt going to be somebody who stays out. Here we go. The top three cars looking to come into pit. They do. Top 5, 6, everybody coming down on the pit road. I am shocked by this. I figured somebody would have tried to stay out. It's going to be a battle of the pit crews to see who's going to put these guys back out in front, and this is going to determine... This might determine who picks up the victory, either Hollywood Motorsports, Asphalt Assault, or somebody else coming out of a nowhere surprise on pit road.
This is going to be the money stop here as Dwayne Vincent almost missed his pit stall as the right sides are going to go up on the number 23 machine. Right sides only for Greg McKinney. Got enough fuel in. Also Dakota Ehrman, right sides only. And Guy Schneider the fourth, and then followed by Tony Bowling, David Lanza, Jesse Murphy, Michael Keaton, new face up in the front. I think your only driver, I'm not sure where Dwayne. Lanza was the first car to take 4, sorry. And where did Dwayne Vincent go? Dwayne Vincent had some extreme problems on pit road, or something happened to him. Not sure if he got caught for speeding. Tough break for him. He's going to go basically to the back of the pack.
He did, Kyle. I was watching Greg McKinney make his stall, and I had seen in the background, I think he missed his pit stall just a little bit. He might have gotten too far off to the right. I had seen him pull forward just a skosh. That is a huge mistake for Dwayne Vincent to make this late in the going, with his team having a chance to pick up the win. Definitely the dominant team of the night, I would have to say. They've been in the top 5 all night, and seeing how things stack up right here, looks like the majority of the drivers who stayed out were the drivers who are staying out for laps back. So Greg McKinney is being scored your leader, with Dakota Ehrman in the number 13 machine lining up in second place. Guy Snyder, the fourth, is going to line up in third place, with Tony Bowling fourth and David Lanza fifth. We have 4 different teams in the top 5. And Halls on Post making their first appearance in the top 5, and I believe the rest of their drivers are just outside of the top 10. So maybe if they get a good restart here, maybe those Halls on Post guys can start in battle in the points leaders for this series.
I don't think they're done wrecking yet, but you talked about maybe this is the first time we have a top 3 that is not each team. I think you jinxed it, because now the top 4 are different teams. We're gonna go green with probably about 2 or 3 laps to go. David Lanza is going to be your first car on 4 fresh tires in the Asphalt Assault Series car. So definitely it's going to be interesting. I think he might run out of time. I think Guy Schneider the fourth, if he does a smart teammate thing, might let Lanza go, because I think Lanza's got the only car right now to go after McKinney.
He might be able to. We've seen McKinney be as fast as he is, and with only a couple of laps to decide this one, taking 2 tires might not have been a bad decision, but it might not have been a great one either. The wave around's going to go around the pace car now. The field's going to double up. We're going to have 4 laps of green flag racing to figure out who is going to take home this win. Now, with iRacing, we do not have green-white checkered finishes. If we get a caution flag before we get the one to go, this race will be over. Once that caution flag, or once that white flag, comes out, they race back to the line to finish this one under green, no matter what. It is going to be a crazy finish, and it's going to be an exciting finish. I might have to go find a seatbelt real quick. I don't know if I'll be able to stay seated for this one.
I think I might have to go find some boxing gloves also.
We might see that as well. With some of the words that are being thrown around, maybe not too happy with Mark Bratcher from some of the Asphalt Assault guys. Guy Snyder was one of them. He lines up third behind Hollywood Motorsports driver Greg McKinney. Guy can be a bit aggressive, and we'll see what happens here. The Ford Mustang pace car going to pull down on the pit road and leave it into the hands of Greg McKinney and Dakota Ehrman. Green flag is out. We are underway once again. McKinney's going to be able to clear Ehrman. Here comes, who is that for full throttle coming up on the outside, making it 3 wide in the back of the pack. They're getting crazy already. Guy Snyder clears into second place. He's on the rear bumper of the 23, trying to close it, maybe make some contact and get him out of the way. Is Guy Snyder. He is all over. McKinney blocked him down out of the apron. Snyder's like, I don't care, I'm going to use the apron, and he's going to get down. Guy Snyder passing Greg McKinney for the lead in turn 3.
Here comes David Lanza working onto the bottom, making it 3 wide as they come off into the triangle here. They are 3 wide for the lead. McKinney's going to get the lead as they go off into 1 and 2. It is McKinney, Guy Schneider the fourth, Lanza, Dakota Ehrman, Michael Keaton. They are all on top of each other as Dakota Ehrman goes up into the wall hard.
That's Michael Keaton actually in the 13, and I had seen that Guy Snyder touch the wall coming off of the triangle. These guys are going at it. They are leaving nothing behind there, throwing everything out on the table. Snyder trying to close in on Greg McKinney after losing some time. Oh, we have a massive crash off of turn number 4. This one is over.
That was a hit from the 16 machine. Michael Keaton, that was a hard. I'm sorry. He got turned into the outside wall off of David Lanza. That was a hard hit. That definitely deserves an ambulance. As they're going to get that keyed up on the replay here quickly. As they're coming down the front straightaway, they all just kind of ran out of room. Actually, it looked like a little bit of net code from iRacing. As it is actually that, as Michael Keaton just all of a sudden dead right hooks it into the outside wall because of net code. Greg McKinney is going to be your unofficial winner. Guy Schneider's going to take it home fourth. So McKinney, after some more controversy here at Chicagoland Speedway here, where's Michael Keaton going? Michael Keaton is just kind of doing something interesting right now. Michael Keaton went to the point for some odd reason. We don't know about that. But Greg McKinney is going to get your victory.
It's going to be interesting to see how this one plays up, but I don't think after how dominant they were, Asphalt Assault might not get the win. Looking through the field, Greg McKinney for Hollywood Motorsports is going to pick up the win. Guy Snyder, the fourth for Asphalt Assault, is going to come home in second place. The Super Speedway Cup driver of Andrew Berger, we haven't talked about him much tonight. He will finish in third place. Tony Bowling, Halls on Post guy, the points leader, heading into tonight's event. He will finish in fourth place, and the Hollywood Motorsports driver of Jesse Murphy going to finish top 5. This one might go to Hollywood Motorsports. I'm not sure. We kind of got a big mix of teams throughout here. Hopefully maybe we can get Jerry Wolf to calculate these points so we can get an official word to you guys before or after our driver interviews. to see who will come out on top of this one. But that was a great battle of racing there amongst these teams. And we've seen it for the majority of the season. I think this team element is bringing such a different side to racing, and it is so exciting to watch. But Greg McKinney going to come off of turn number 4 under caution. The checkered flag falls on his race car. Not literally. Greg McKinney picks up the win in the, I believe, I think this is the I-League race 150 or 100 here at Chicagoland Speedway. Greg McKinney is your victor.
And also the Halls on Post team is going to get the maximum amount of points just because of where their drivers finished. They're just kind of getting a word from race control on what we're supposed to do, but right now your unofficial winner is Greg McKinney. So congratulations to Halls on Post Motorsports on bringing home the victory. And also Andrew Berger kind of had one of those where did he come from days.
Yeah, we didn't talk about Andrew at all this race, and he's going to be able to come into the top 3. And Kyle, you're right, I jinxed it. Top 3 are different teams. That's a very interesting statistic. In all 5 races, the top 3 drivers have been from different teams in each event. A very interesting statistic here as Greg McKinney burns him down on the front straightaway. He will pick his number 23 car into victory lane for the first or second time. Still a little shaky on last week's results, but it is for sure that tonight Greg McKinney is your winner.
Hello?
We'll be right back after Greg McKinney picks up tonight's win. We're going to head to commercial break real quick. We apologize for the small difficulty there. Once we come back from commercial, we will talk to our top 3 drivers from tonight's event. Don't go anywhere. Driver interviews coming up after the break.
Radio Network. Join 5,000 plus other listeners where you can hear everything from big 80s metal to classic rock and roll, country radio, ETV, live sports radio, even adult and unplugged rock and roll. HDRadioNetwork.com, one of the fastest growing internet radio networks. HDRadioNetwork.com. Take it with you, cowboy. Get the mobile app for Android, iPhone, iPad, and all the rest from TuneIn.com. Team Racing Series returns to ETV Live on Tuesday nights following the Fast Track Racing Series radio show. After organizing a highly successful team series in 2010, Jerry Wolf is back with some kick butt, take no prisoners, team racing action like you have never seen before. The ETV Live Team Racing Series is sponsored by HD Radio Network live on Tuesday nights from 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't wimp out, dude. Catch the action live at etv-eplay.net.
Welcome back here at Chicagoland for the ETV Live Team Series presented by the HD Radio Network. Well, we're going to send it down to pit road with Kyle Young. Pretty sure he's caught up with the third-place driver of Andrew Berger.
Indeed, I have. I would say possibly the surprise of the night, Andrew Berger for Super Speedway Cup is going to manage a third-place finish here. Andrew, we didn't really talk about you too much, but you were able to sneak up into third place there. It was a pretty hectic battle there on pit road, and then on the very last stint of the race there. Talk about the race for you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty much my strategy to stay in the back and just ride, so it's probably why you guys didn't talk about me too much. I was just kind of watching everything unfold and expected quite a few wrecks, and unfortunately that did come true, and I was able to avoid them. Unfortunately, my teammates kind of got caught up in a few, but yeah, at the end there, I restarted ninth, I think, in the last, after the pit stop there, and I was just hoping and praying that nobody's going to wreck, so that I could gain a couple spots back, because I knew a couple guys took 2 tires there, and thankfully it kind of worked out, and I was able to sneak in my way into the top 3.
We had seen there, we were talking with talking about a couple drivers with their fuel strategies. Before we had that final yellow, what was your guys' ordeal? Were you guys able to make it on fuel, or were you one of the guys hoping that you got a yellow flag there?
Oh no, all our guys were good on fuel. Actually, I think pretty much everybody should have been good on fuel at that point, but who knows? I guess we'll find out. But no, I think it would have been good to run green to the end there. I wouldn't have come in third, but had a nice battle back there for 5th spot with a couple guys. But overall, it was a clean race for me and fairly decent race for my teammates.
A pretty respectable race here at Chicagoland for the Super Speedway Cup team. Andrew Berger topping the team this week in 3rd place. Andrew, you got your team, you got a lot of sponsors and stuff. Who makes it happen for it and keeps that number 30 machine running?
Yeah, I got to thank Rod Flag and this whole Super Speedway Cup team, Brand Jaburko and Glenn Hedrick, who worked on the setup this week. It was pretty good setup. It was a little tricky in 3. Brandon I know had a handful, and I think you interviewed him about that, but it was a good setup overall. Of course, I got to thank you guys at ETV and HD Radio Network for putting this whole deal on. It's always a blast each week. Yeah, so thank you guys.
The number 30 machine of Andrew Berger for the Super Speedway Cup team is going to come home bottom step of the podium, 3rd place tonight. Going to send it down to the other end of pit road where Kyle Peddle has caught up with your 2nd place driver for Asphalt Assault, Guy Snyder the 4th.
As I caught up here with Guy Snyder the 4th, interesting day. Kind of were riding around in the back of the field, and all of a sudden with about 20 to go, you're all of a sudden in the top 3 and battling. How did your day go?
Yeah, you had it right. I was all over the place from the back, and I kept making mistakes. I'd get decent track position like mid-pack, and then I'd get sideways off of 4, and I'd lose all my track position. But I felt like I was just as fast as the guys in front of me. So that one time we ran, I think 4 laps or something, and we stayed out. And ever since then, once I had the track position, then I was able to hold my own.
For sure. What went through your head there when you saw Mark Bratcher did what he did there and come back up on the track?
Yeah, that was made us very angry at the RSR. We had 2 guys in position to run him down for the win, and I know because I was on that pit strategy that it was going to be close on fuel. I was actually a lap to the bad, and I just started clutching it to save all I could, maybe to bring it home, and I don't know how he, being in the lead, would have had more fuel than me because I was actually drafting cars. So I don't know. It's very sketchy.
Without a doubt, but we know that you got, like you said, the Asphalt Assault series that's on the side of your car in RSR, but who else makes it happen for you?
Hippie's Paint Shop, painted some beautiful cars that we get to run. Of course, you said RSR. I got to thank my teammates, Dave Lanza, pretty much everybody at RSR, Dwayne Vincent. They gave me a good setup tonight. I actually showed up 5 minutes before the race, and it's a nice feeling when you have a competitive setup and you really didn't do anything to get it. And also got to thank HD Radio Network and of course you guys at ETV for putting this on. It's a lot of fun most times.
Oh, we definitely also have a lot of fun up here in the booth commentating you guys. Is now we're going to send it off to Gatorade Victory Lane, where I think Greg McKinney is just climbing out of his car.
Indeed, he has. Greg McKinney removing himself from his number 23. Better off a hot rod here at Chicagoland Speedway. Greg, you were definitely the dominant single car of the night. Talk about your race and trying to stay up front there.
Yeah, it was just trying to get into the long run, and I was a little free first 5, 6, 7 laps, and once I got into a long run, the car just really came in. Really had 3 and 4 was where we worked on it, and that's where I made up all my time over the bumps.
We had seen as that long late race run had started to progress that the 2 drivers for Asphalt Assault, David Lanza and Dwayne Vincent, they were starting to reel you in. And we had seen prior to that you had stayed out under that yellow flag. Was that due to saving of fuel, or were they just straight up faster?
Yeah, I was clutching and letting it roll in the corners and not picking it up to the center. I had the fuel mileage pretty much. Ran so many races here and done it so many times. We was about a lap to the good, 0.8 to the good, somewhere right in there. But if it had went green, about 8 to go, we was going to hit the hammer and probably run out right at the start-finish line. We was about dead on it.
A pretty intense race after that. You had to fend off quite a few drivers. Guy Snyder was being one of them, and the field hounding down on you, and you were able to do it, fortunately enough for you, and the possibility that your Hollywood Motorsports team might leave here with the victory as Jesse Murphy picked up a 5th place position. There are a lot of guys who make it happen for you and your team. Gotta give some shout-outs here. We know they're there for you. Who makes it happen?
Oh yeah, I got to thank Spotter, Tony Mangi. Got to thank Outlaw Motorsport for the setups, BH Designs for the paint schemes we running, and Hollywood Motorsports for letting us in this league, and ETV for putting on a good show.
Your winner of tonight's event, Greg McKinney, the number 23 machine for Hollywood Motorsports, picks up a dominant victory, leading all but 1 lap tonight. 99 laps led in very dominant fashion to pick up tonight's victory. Kyle, we finish off race number 5. It's been a very entertaining and very interesting team series so far. Pretty much it's been different every week that we've shown up to the racetrack. It's been one dominant team to the next. It really hasn't been too single-handed to one team just quite yet.
Without a doubt, I think has it been 5 races, 5 different winners, something like that. But next week we go away from the cookie cutter traps for the last 2, or actually last week. I don't know why I keep thinking that we were at Las Vegas last week. And next week we go to Rockingham. I know the trucks are starting to race there again in real life, and well, we're going to be there next week for the ETV Live Team Series. It's definitely going to be an interesting track over there.
Yeah, indeed it is. It's I believe it's just around a 1 mile, very high banked speedway. It kind of acts like a short track in a way, but you can get some really good green flag racing there, and it'll definitely be interesting to see how well that track holds for I believe it is round number 6 for the ETV Team Series. One of the newer tracks into the iRacing service, and it should hold for some pretty great racing as we have seen throughout the entire season so far. Final thoughts? Anything else to wrap up with, Kyle?
Nope, none at all. It was definitely another enjoyable time for us up in the booth. Well, that will do it for us from Kyle Young, and myself, Kyle Peddle, John and JD pushing the buttons up in the booth, and all of us here at ETV Live. Good night.